Robert Kraus, Jason Blair,
Here.
Kathy Griffith,
Here.
Terry Kavner,
Here.
David Roberts, Mark Ham,
Here.
Glenn Lewis.
Would you please stand? At this time, we would like to take a moment of silence for the victims and residents of Newtown, Connecticut. Thank you. Would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, we will have a presentation of the Oklahoma Municipal League service pins and certificates to Kathy Wilson, Rhonda Baxter, and Denise Simpson.
While he's going around there, I'll mention something about these three ladies. Rhonda, many of you know, Rhonda is my executive assistant. Been here, what is it, 25-year service pin, so I think 25 years. Denise is there in the middle. Denise is our billing clerk, and she runs 20-something thousand bills a month through and sends all those out and does a great job for us. Rhonda first. Kathy is our personnel technician, works in our personnel office and takes care of the employees.
Thank you.
All three of these employees or ladies are excellent employees for us, and we're very happy that they're here tonight to accept this and appreciate their service very much to our city.
Thank you, Mr. Eaton. Item 2 is a consent docket. Item A, receive and approve the minutes of the regular city council meeting held December 3rd, 2012. Item B, approve and ratify claims and expenditures for FY 2012-2013 in the amount of $1,909,946.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Would you call for the vote, please?
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Terry Kavner,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Jason Blair.
Yes, item carries. Item 3, consider action, receive bids, and consider for approval or rejection resolution number 75312 awarding $3,675,000 City of Moore, Oklahoma general obligation bonds of 2013 to bidder whose bid is determined to offer the lowest interest cost.
Chris Cochran is here this evening to present this for you.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. It's great to be here again. As you all will remember from your meeting a month ago, you adopted a resolution at that meeting that basically set the wheels in motion for selling the remaining $3,675,000 worth of bonds back from your 2008 voter authorization. So since that meeting, the three of us have been doing what we do, and the bond sale culminated today because we took bids on your behalf until 2 o'clock today. And I'm going to share the bid results with you in just a moment, but suffice it to say it was a very good day for the taxpayer here in the city of Moore. Very great interest rate. So before I pass out the packet, there's one other thing that I want to tell you about. Every time we do one of these bond issues, we ask Standard & Poor's, the credit rating agency, to come in and do an assessment of the city from a risk perspective, our ability to pay our debts. And they put a letter grade on the risk aspects, and then the bidders use that grade to determine what ultimately they're going to bid for your bonds. I just want to give you some highlights. Again, you're going to have a report. The report's going to be in the information that I provide you, but They affirmed your AA- credit rating, which is an outstanding rating. It definitely puts you in the top echelon of cities across the nation. You'll see they were very complimentary of you all and your management on a financial perspective of the city, recognizing all the good things that are going on in this community. Just an outstanding report, and I think you should be very proud of it. And it's reflected in the interest rates that I'm going to provide you. So with that, I'm going to pass out the material. Okay, pretty self-explanatory, but on the first page, you can see that we received 4 bids for your bonds today. The best bid was from the Baker Group, located in Oklahoma City. They bid an average interest rate for the $3.675 million of bonds of 1.11967. The second bid was UMB Bank at 1.168. Third bid was Country Club Bank at 1.314. And the last bid was Hutchinson Shockey out of Chicago at 1.78. On the next page, just real quickly, if you've got a second, what I wanted to do is, obviously this completed the $18 million street bond authorization. So what we've done on that second page is just provide you with the interest rates for each of those 3 issues. I think it's really interesting to look at the difference in rates, just what's happened to interest rates over the last 4 or 5 years. It's really amazing. You know, back in 2009, your average interest rate was a 4.85 for that issue. Then in 2010, it went down to 2.43, and of course here you're almost 1.12. So outstanding bids, great time to be issuing bonds, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have about our bids.
That's awesome. Very good.
Absolutely. You told me by email, Chris, earlier, but you just might mention the Baker Group, kind of who they are.
The Baker Group, not a lot of people know their name, but they're a very successful firm. They are a brokerage firm based in Oklahoma City, but their primary business, rather than being a broker to individuals, you know, like a Merrill Lynch might be, they're really kind of a broker to commercial banks. So almost their entire clientele are commercial banks, not only in Oklahoma, but regionally and nationally as well. So that's why they're so interested in your bonds, because these, if you'll remember, these are what we call bank qualified bonds. So ultimately, commercial banks will own almost all of these bonds. I'm certain of that.
That's great. Thank you.
I'm sorry to keep being so wordy, but I have worked with them for more than a decade, and their money, their checks clear. Checks clear.
That's a good thing.
Thank you.
We'll need a motion and a second on that.
Yeah, do we have a motion? So moved. Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Would you call for the vote, please?
Terry Kavner,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Jason Blair.
Yes, item carries. Item 4, consider action, approval, or rejection of resolution number 75412, providing for the issuance of general obligation bonds of 2013 in the sum of $3,675,000 by the city of Moore, Oklahoma, authorized an election duly called and held for such purpose on November 4th, 2008, prescribing form of bonds, providing for registration thereof, providing levy of an annual tax for payment of principal and interest on same, designating bonds as qualified tax exempt obligations, and fixing other details of the issue.
I'll take that if you'd like. You have a 12-page document resolution authorizing issuance of the bonds in your in your packet of materials. I'm going to be very brief. Every time a city does a bond issue like this, you have to have certain documents that are required by the Attorney General of the state of Oklahoma. This is one of the 26 documents that are required. It's in basically the same form of every similar type of resolution you've ever done when you've done a general obligation bond. So it's very standard. The only thing that I would like to bring to your attention is we are covenanting in this document to not issue more than $10 million worth of tax-exempt bank qualified obligations during this year. And I think in the plans that we've discussed with the city manager, this fits into the overall plan. So I'm happy to answer any questions, but a very standard resolution that's required by the state of Oklahoma.
Great, thank you. Do we have a motion?
Make a motion to approve?
Thank you.
Second?
Thank you. Would you call for the vote, please?
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Terry Kavner.
Yes.
Jason Blair.
Yes, item carries. Item 5, consider appointing Janie Milam to the Parks Board to fill the unexpired term of Violet May Young.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Council, one of our longtime Parks Board members, Violet May Young, submitted her resignation a few weeks back due to health and family reasons. We advertised this opening on the Parks Board on the city website. We left that open through November the 30th. We had 2 citizens submit their names. One was Tracy Jenkins, who was recently appointed to another board or commission at the last council meeting. The other person you all know, Janie Milam. You all know her resume, very involved in the community and was very involved in the Our Parks, Our Future Citizens Committee. So she knows the projects we're going to be working on as we move forward. So we think she'll be a great addition to the Parks Board if you approve her.
Thank you, Doug.
Make a motion to approve?
Thank you.
Second?
Thank you. Would you call for the vote, please?
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Terry Kavner.
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Jason Blair.
Yes, item carries. Item 6, consider approval of a contract with Vireo Inc., formerly known as Patty Banks Associates, for planning and design services associated with Our Parks, Our Future park improvement projects.
Thank you, Mayor. 6 of our parks in our park system need some site work, some designs done for them so that we can begin the process to make those projects a reality. Again, those projects were approved by the voters in November. The parks in question here are Parmley, which is a new park, Little River, Buck Thomas, Westmore Trails, Quail Ridge, and Fairmore Park. These designs and site plans are critical. They're a first step in the process to make these projects and these improvements a reality. We'll take these site plans, and our contractor will, and we'll construct these parks and improvements from them. Patty Bank, or Vireo, sorry, formerly Patty Banks Associates, you all know they're very involved in our master plan process, so they know the community, they know us, they know our expectations. They're very involved in the citizen input phase of this whole project. So we think it's just logical, and it makes a great deal of sense to use them. This is a planned and expected expense. We knew that we'd have to do some site work and design, so this isn't an unexpected expense. So we'd recommend that you all approve this if you would.
Thank you, sir.
Make a motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second?
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Would you call for the vote, please?
Terry Kavner,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Jason Blair.
Yes, item carries. Item 7, consider approval of 2 contracts with Cardinal Engineering for engineering services for A, reconstruction of bridge box located on Southwest 34th Street between Santa Fe Avenue and Telephone Road in the amount of $24,650, and B, engineering services for roadway widening of Southwest 34th Street between Santa Fe Avenue and Telephone Road in the amount of $216,300.
Vice Mayor and Council, you may recall that this project has been on the short list for road project improvements for some time now. With the GEO bond issue projects wrapping up, we do think it's time to start looking forward in the next several years to some projects that will be starting. This is one of them. We have experienced a lot of increase in traffic on this roadway over the time with the new high school and elementary school on Santa Fe and the other commercial and residential developments in the area. And the thing that has really brought this to the forefront is the bridge that is located approximately at the half-mile mark. It does narrow down. There are some safety considerations with that. And so we are requesting for Cardinal Engineering to do the engineering of the entire roadway. We have split the project of the bridge out into a separate contract simply because we think that this is a safety issue that needs to be dealt with first. So the intent is that the engineering on the bridge box would begin almost immediately, with hopefully construction taking place this summer. The roadway would then come after that a ways. The anticipated funding of the roadway, we're hoping that there will be some leftover money in the GO bond issue for the streets, not the parks.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
The other project that we had talked to you all about is Telephone Road between 4th and 5th, South 4th and North 5th. We've talked to the engineering firm that did some work on that when we were looking at that as a possible stimulus project 4 or 5 years ago. We've talked to them and asked for them to submit a proposal to rework that roadway. Hopefully that'll be on the next meeting or two. Those Telephone Road, I think that piece of Telephone and this piece of 34th were the two of the top ones that we identified, and I think you all looked at and approved as projects that needed at least we need to begin working towards.
Whenever we do that 34th Street project, we will do something between the frontage road and Telephone, I hope. I'm not saying 4-lane, but let's at least clean up that 2-lane. It's horrible.
Yes, we will. I mean, we don't want to have a brand new 4-lane road without the entryway to it. You're right. We're not sure we would even have enough room to put a 4-lane road over there with the cemetery.
Yeah.
But definitely a nice 2 or 3-lane roadway would be what we would need to do there, yes.
That'd be great. It's hard on bicycles.
It's hard on people's cars and all that too, I think.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Would you call for the vote, please?
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Terry Kavner,
Yes.
Jason Blair.
Yes, item carries. Item 8, consider approval of ordinance number 73012, amending Part 12, Chapter 14, Sections 12-1401 through 12-1408 of the Moore Land Development Code by amending the title of the chapter, revising administrative procedures and requirements for sewer main extension recoupments, and adding Section 12-1409, outlining procedures for cost reimbursement.
Vice Mayor and Council, items number 8 and 9 on your agenda are companion items. These two ordinances deal with chapters that were originally adopted into the city code in the late 90s. They were modeled after the City of Oklahoma City requirements or regulations for businesses or individuals that may be extending public services such as water and sewer that would benefit other property owners, and that those developers would like to get reimbursed for some of that expense that they are putting out up front. Oklahoma City had a way to deal with this. At the time, we did not, so we basically just adopted what Oklahoma City had. An example of what this might be used for is on Southwest 19th Street, where the mini storage is and the Dan McGinnis pub is. If you recall, at one time there was nothing out there. That developer actually did have to extend sewer approximately a quarter of a mile to serve that property. And because he did that, he didn't want other property owners to benefit from his capital investment. So we did generate or establish a recoupment district, and he has now recouped a large significant portion of that cost. And the recoupment comes as a benefiting property owner will tap onto the line. And the city will then collect that fee and then issue the original developer a check. So what these ordinances do tonight really is just establishing the process in the way that we actually do it. It mirrors what staff has already been doing, cleaning up some of the sections that are not needed, and really just cleaning the whole process up. As we're anticipating to have more of these in the future. We just passed one for Rocky Clark several months ago, and so the need to clean this up is here, and so that's what these two ordinances are doing.
Thank you.
But as far as changing anything, the way that we do any business, we are not.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second?
Thank you. Would you call for the vote, please?
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Terry Kavner.
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Jason Blair.
Yes, item carries. Item 9, consider approval of ordinance number 73112, amending Part 12, Chapter 13, Sections 12-1301 through 12-1311 of the Moore Land Development Code by amending the title of the chapter, revising administrative procedures and requirements for water main extension recoupments, and deleting sections 12-1309 through 12-1310.
And again, this was just a companion item to the other one. I have nothing else to add.
Thank you.
Make a motion to approve?
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Would you call for the vote, please?
Terry Kavner,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Jason Blair.
Yes, item carries. Item 10, consider approval of ordinance number 73212, amending Part 12, Chapter 3, Article C of the Moore Land Development Code by adding Section 12-398, Site Development Standards, requiring gravity flow sanitary sewer for all commercial and industrial development.
Vice Mayor, Council, this item comes before you because as we have experienced heavy growth in the past 10 years, a lot of the easily developable land has been developed. We're kind of left with some property that may have some challenges, and one of those challenges is the availability of public sanitary sewer. We have been receiving a lot of inquiries as of late on land that does not have any access or limited access to sewer. Over the years, we have approached situations such as this on a case-by-case basis, and we look at the amount of flow that a certain business may generate. We look at the location of where it's at, and we make a determination as to what is the best for the community. We're starting to get challenged by some other developers and builders who may not have those same issues with their location or the land or the availability of sewer. They simply just don't want to have the expense of extending sewer to their property. And they are starting to ask for certain variances to be allowed that really city staff we don't feel like we have the ability to give them that kind of variance. So with the adoption of this ordinance, it would insert this into our zoning code, which then would allow staff to take a request that needs an official determination to the Board of Adjustment, where then they can hear all of the reasons for and against a request and make a decision accordingly. And the great thing about the Board of Adjustment is that they can also give some caveats on any sort of decision. So for example, if a business is allowed to have a private septic system, perhaps the Board of Adjustment might recommend that when sewer is extended out there, that they are required to tap on. And that's something that the Planning Commission doesn't have the ability to do that. So we would recommend that you approve this. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
I'll just have one. What is the primary issue that some of the developers are having that they're bringing before you and asking for a variance?
Well, a lot of times it is the location of the sewer. There may be a large creek crossing that just makes it very expensive to extend sewer to the site. If the site or the business happens to be something like a mini storage, that has maybe one person working, a very low output sewer situation, it's been our practice to give them administrative variances to this. But now we're getting into some situations where developers may have higher sewer flow businesses and are still asking for the same variances, something like a convenience store or a restaurant. And that, I don't think is something that we would like to just, staff would not like to just administratively make that determination. It really needs to be some sort of official action.
All right.
Most of the time, they just don't want to spend money to put the public utilities in.
Yeah.
That- Most of the time. Now, occasionally, there'll be probably one that's fairly legitimate, but,
But it would come before the Board of Adjustment, and we would still have the decision-making power in that.
Right, right.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All right, we have a motion and a second. Would you call for the vote, please?
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Terry Kavner.
Yes.
Jason Blair.
Yes, item carries. Item 11, consider approval of resolution number 75112, approving the 2012 CDBG Program Year Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report and submit the same to the Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Vice Mayor and Council, I would like to introduce Mr. Jared Jakubowski. He is a new staff member in the Community Development Department. He is in charge of the CDBG grants and other special projects. And Mr. Jakubowski would love to explain the CAPER to you.
Vice Mayor and Council, each year, Department of Housing and Urban Development requires CDBG recipients to submit a CAPER, Consolidated Annual Performance Evaluation Report. During the 2011 program year, the city received a total of $259,077. Approximately $93,000 or 36% of programs allocations have been spent, leaving a carryover balance of approximately $165,000. The Crestmore Old Town Sidewalk Project Phase 2 is completed from East Main Street to Southeast 4th Street along Southeastern. The uncompleted portion is from Berwick to Northeastern along Northeast 12th Street and is expected to be completed in early 2013. Also, during the 2011 program year, the city funded 3 public service agencies: Aging Services, Mary Abbott House, and Father's Business Food Pantry. To date, the 2011 program year, the city has assisted 900 individuals. This time, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any question?
It's a great, I don't have a question, but it's just a great opportunity, great expenditure of funds, giving back and helping our community in a lot of positive ways, so good job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
CDBG is one federal grant program that works pretty well, has for us anyway. And we've been an entitlement city now for 3 or 4 years, I guess, 2 or 3 years, which is a little bit more money, but that money goes back into the areas of the community typically that need the most infrastructure improvements, that sort of thing.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion?
Yes, I make a motion.
Thank you.
Second?
Thank you. Would you call for the vote, please?
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Terry Kavner.
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Jason Blair.
Yes. Item carries. At this time, we will recess the city council meeting and convene the Moore Public Works Authority meeting. I did, I'm sorry. We need to address item number 12. and that's consider adopting resolution number 75212, calling for and setting the dates for the municipal elections for the year 2013 as provided in the city charter, specifying the officers to be elected, providing for qualifications of candidates, designating which offices shall be filled by ward, providing for nonpartisan election, providing for residency requirements, directing that a copy of said resolution be forwarded to the Secretary of Cleveland County Election Board as required by state law, and providing that a copy of the resolution be published in a newspaper of general circulation in the city.
Mayor, this is the required resolution for you all to call for our spring elections for the city council as required by our charter and required by state law. This sets forth the filing period from Monday, February 4th through Wednesday, February 6th, 2013. Would call for the primary election to be held on Tuesday, March 5th, and a general election, in our case, the runoff, if it were to be needed, on Tuesday, April the 2nd of 2013. So this is for the one seat in each of the 3 wards that we didn't have the election on last year. I think it's Robert's seat, your
Mine and
seat,
Kathy.
and Kathy's seat. So
That's why I skipped it. I'm not ready to run again.
can't believe it's been 3 years already, huh?
Sorry.
But this is a process that we're required to go through, so it's to some extent a formality, but it does set forth the dates and puts everything in motion to get it to the Cleveland County Election Board to hold that election.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Would you call for the vote, please?
Terry Kavner,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Jason Blair.
Yes, item carries, and at this time, we would like to recess the city council meeting and convene the Moore Public Works Authority meeting. Item 13 is a consent docket. Item A, receive and approve the minutes of the regular Moore Public Works Authority meeting held December 3rd, 2012. Item B, approve and ratify claims and expenditures for FY 2012-2013 in the amount of $467,976.85.
Make a motion to approve?
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Would you call for the vote, please?
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Terry Kavner,
Yes.
Jason Blair.
Yes, item carries. Item 14, receive a recommendation from CL Frades and approve an agreement for excess health insurance for calendar year 2013.
Vice Mayor and trustees, I'd like to point out that there will be no increase in our Delta Dental administrative fees, and there will be a 10 cents per member per month increase for the First Health Network fees for 2013. CL Frades has shopped the market for our excess health insurance. It appears that Companion Life Insurance Company, which is our current carrier, has submitted the best quote, and staff recommends approval of this renewal. Connie Wolf with CL Frades is here to answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you.
I'll move to approve.
Thank you.
Second?
Thank you. Would you call for the vote, please?
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Terry Kavner,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Jason Blair.
Yes, item carries. Item 15, consider an agreement with Interlink Health Services for transplant network services and authorize staff to modify health plan document to include recommended transplant benefits.
Vice Mayor and trustees, our excess health insurance company is requiring us to have an agreement with a company for transplant services. CL Freitas is currently using Interlink Health Services for transplant services, and the staff recommends approval of the agreement with Interlink Health Services and the authority to update our plan document accordingly. Connie's here to answer any questions if you have them. I believe this will be a good an extra benefit for the employee should one ever need these transplant services. Hopefully we won't, but if we do, it'd be a nice benefit for the employee, and also it's something that's required by our excess insurance. I think it'd be good for the plan also.
Thank you. Questions? Comments?
The motion that we approve it?
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Would you call for the vote, please?
Terry Kavner,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Jason Blair.
Yes, item carries. Item 16, receive a recommendation from Universal Insurance Agency and approve policies for property and contents insurance and for physical damage coverage for the city's sanitation trucks for the calendar year 2013.
Vice Mayor and trustees, Universal Insurance Company has shopped the market for property insurance, including earthquake, flood, and boiler and machinery. All these are included in the policy. They have also shopped the market for the physical damage coverage for our sanitation trucks. One thing I'd like to point out, and that is the wind and hail deductible has increased on the property from $50,000 to $100,000. The property insurance premium has increased by about 2.3 cents per hundred in coverage. The coverage for the sanitation trucks has increased about 2 cents per $100 of value. The staff recommends approval of the property insurance with the Hartford and Universal Insurance as agent, and approval of the physical damage coverage for the sanitation trucks with Great American Company and Universal Insurance as agent.
Thank you.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Would you call for the vote, please?
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Terry Kavner,
Yes.
Jason Blair.
Abstain. Item 17, receive a recommendation from Glenn Harris and Associates and approve a policy for public officials and employment practices liability insurance for calendar year 2013.
Vice Mayor and trustees, Glenn Harris and Associates has shopped the market for our excess public officials and employment practices liability insurance. There is increase in price due to their increase in our budget, and that's one of the ways that they basically determine the prices. And of course, the larger our budget gets, the more the price is. The staff recommends approval of the renewal of our excess public officials and employment practices liability policy with Ace Westchester as the company and with Glenn Harris and Associates as the agent. And Dan Kramer with Glenn Harris and Associates is here to answer any questions you may have on that.
Thank you.
I like the coverage myself.
Okay.
Since it protects us.
Yeah.
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Would you call for the vote, please?
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Terry Kavner,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Jason Blair.
Yes, item carries. Item 18, consider awarding bid number 1213-004, purchase of sanitation routing system to Softpak in the amount of $33,965.
Mayor and Council, we had a couple goals when we looked for the software, was to know where the drivers were located for the sanitation trucks, and have customer service have an answer when the customer's called in real time, so that they didn't have any problems with that. That involves taking pictures of trash trucks and trash cans sitting in front of cars sitting in front of them or whatnot. Also, the option to have the supervisor know where the trucks were, so they can better allocate resources. One truck is running more behind than the others. The secondary goal was to help our street department out and know potholes and street signs and identify that in a more timely basis and have a way to track that information. So we're recommending the lowest and most responsive bidder, which was Softpak, of $33,965. Any questions?
A lot of money. Computer stuff's expensive. Software.
Do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Would you call for the vote, please?
Terry Kavner,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Jason Blair.
Yes, item carries. At this time, we will recess the Moore Public Works Authority meeting and convene the Moore Risk Management meeting. Item 19 is a consent docket. Item A, receive and approve the minutes of the regular Moore Risk Management meeting held December 3rd, 2012. Item B, approve and ratify claims and expenditures for FY 2012-2013 in the amount of $275,293.28.
Make a motion to approve?
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Would you call for the vote, please?
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Terry Kavner,
Yes.
Jason Blair.
Yes, item carries. At this time, we will recess the Moore Risk Management meeting and convene the Moore Economic Development Authority meeting.
Item 20 is the roll call. Would you call the roll, please?
Robert Kraus, Jason Blair,
Here?
Kathy Griffith,
Here.
Glenn Lewis, David Roberts, Mark Ham,
Here.
Terry Kavner.
Here. Item 21 is the consent docket. Item A is to receive and approve the minutes of the regular Moore Economic Development Authority meeting held November 19th, 2012.
Make a motion to approve?
Second that.
Would you call for the vote, please?
Jason Blair,
Yes.
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Terry Kavner.
Yes. Motion passes. At this time, we will recess the Moore Economic Development Authority meeting and reconvene the City Council meeting.
Thank you. Item 22 is new business. Item A, citizens forum for items not on the agenda. Have anybody signed up? Okay. Item B, items from the city council or trustees.
Just mention that I had an opportunity to meet with AT&T on Tuesday in reference to the issues we've been having on 12th Street as far as the delays in that project and the inconvenience to all the businesses and homeowners and people that just drive that street regularly. And I felt like it was a good meeting. AT&T accepted a lot of the responsibility for the delays that have happened and have ensured that they're going to work with our city leaders to ensure that we can prevent some of those from happening again. Some of these other street projects, road projects that we'll be having. And just, I just expressed to them, it was 12th Street, it's a busy street, and the city is the one that gets the black eye on that. People don't think bad of AT&T, they think bad of us as a city and leaders of our city, and we're not sure how to manage or to build a street. So it was a good, positive meeting, and I hope that some other good things will come from it on behalf of the city. And I'll be watching on some of the other projects, and if not, I'll be glad to talk about it again openly.
Thank you. Anybody else? Okay. Item C is items from the city trust manager.
The monthly financial statement for November is there in front of you. Really pleased with this. First time that we can say that both of the funds are in the black, doing good as far as the monthly financial statements. So again, when Jim brought this to me, I was real happy to see that. And I just wanted to also wish our citizens, residents, and all of our employees a Merry Christmas. We won't meet again until the new year, so that's all I have.
Thank you. Item 23 is adjournment.
So move.
Second?
Thank you. All right, would you call for the vote, please?
Kathy Griffith,
Yes.
Terry Kavner,
Yes.
Mark Ham,
Yes.
Jason Blair.
Yes, item carries. We are adjourned. Oh.
There it is.
You got held up.
Yeah, Mayor holding it up.